Welcome to DSEJ Home Classes, a digital initiative by Director School Education Jammu. Namaskar, my dear students. Again, we are going to talk about the same chapter, that is the morphology of the flowering plants. And the topic that I am going to discuss today is the stem. Last time we have discussed about a very important organ of the plant, and that is the root. And equally important is the stem that we will be discussing today. My dear students, the stem is one of the two main structural axis of the vascular plant, the other being the root. That is, the two main structural axes of the plant are the root and the shoot. The root we have discussed yesterday. Today we will be discussing the stem or the shoot. It acts as a bridge between, this is the root and these are the leaves, flowers, etc. It acts as a bridge between root and the rest of the parts of the plant. It supports leaves, it supports flowers, fruits, it transports fluids and other new materials from root to the various parts of the plant, and the food which the leaves prepare are transferred to various parts via stem. It produces the new living tissue, and that adds to increase in the height of the plant. So stem is very important organ of the plant. So let us discuss some of the functions which are performed by the stem. The functions of the stem. Stem is the organ which holds the leaf in a favorable position to receive the light for the photosynthesis. It is due to the stem that the leaves are placed in a position by which the leaves can have an access to the sunlight and thereby perform the process of the photosynthesis. The stem also holds the flowers in the favorable position by organizing its inflorescence and thus aiding in the process of pollination. Most of the stems contain chlorophyll, and they therefore manufacture food by the process of photosynthesis. That is, if the stem is green, it contains chloroplast, and thus it can also do the process of photosynthesis. Stem stores the food and the water. They transport water and mineral salts from roots to leaves and different parts of the plant. They transport food from leaves to the root. So these are the some of the functions which are performed by the stem. And now I am telling you that the stem is also, in addition to the functions that I have told you, it sometimes does some modifications either for the better adjustment of the plant to the prevailing conditions or performing some additional function. And some of the modifications of the stems are discussed here. First are the underground modifications, which include bulb, corm, rhizome and tuber. Then the subaerial. Subaerial means little above the ground or just under the ground. That is runner, stolon, sucker and offset. And then there are the aerial modification, totally above the ground, and these includes creepers, trailers and climbers. Two more modifications that we will be discussing are the phylloclads and the cladodes, and these are also modified stems in addition to the above mentioned stem modifications. So we will be discussing these stem modifications one by one. Let us first start with the underground modifications of the stem. The stem is identified by the presence of nodes and internodes. In any structure, when you see the presence of nodes and internodes, it will say that this is the stem. So the first underground modification is the rhizome. The example is the ginger. Here you can see the nodes, these ring-like structures which are present on the ginger. These represent the nodes, and the area in between are called as the internodes or the stem segments. Now, this underground stem, this ginger is the underground stem that does the function of storage of food, and thus this is a modified stem. Then another example of underground modification is the corm. The example is the colocasia. Here again you can see these ring-like structures. These are the nodes and the internodes, and it also does the function of storage of food. Very typical example of underground modification of stem is the potato, which is called as the tuber, and you have seen the eyes on the potatoes. They represent the nodes and the rest of the area as the internodes. And you can see the new plant can arise from any area which contains the eye, and this is a modified stem, does the function of storage of the food. And then is the bulb. Example is the onion. It contains adventitious roots at the base, bulb above, and this is a deliquescent stem it represents, and it is the underground modification of the stem. After this, we have subaerial modification of the stems. In this type of the modification, the stem trails on the soil or is found partially beneath the soil in such a way that it remains in contact with both soil as well as air. The stem is modified for perennation and vegetative reproduction. The subaerial modifications are of 4 types that we will be discussing here. This is runner, stolen, offset, and sucker. Let's see it like this. This is the runner. You can see this is the internode, and from the node, this is example is in case of grass, Cynodon dactylon, our garden grass. This is the example is the runner. The roots are seen coming from the portion of the nodes, and these are the internodes. Then there is the stolen. The stolen, this again the roots are coming from the internodes, and these are the the roots are coming from the nodes, and in between area is the internode. Runner creeps on the ground, whereas the stolen, the internodal portion is slightly raised above the ground and the nodal portion is totally under the ground. Then there is the offset, in which we can see that the roots are coming from the nodes and internodes are in between, and these are the one internode length. It is only one internode length, and that is called as the offset. Then there is the sucker, where the stem creeps over the ground and it rises upwards, where it bears the leaves and keeps on increasing in its length by creeping on the ground and bearing the roots at the nodal portions. This is the sucker, runner, stolen, and offset. These are the examples of the subaerial stems. Then we have aerial modifications of the stem. As I discussed with you, they consist of various kinds of thorns, creepers, tendrils, and of course the cladodes and the phylloclades. Let us discuss it like this. What is the phylloclade and what is the cladode? In case of phylloclade, both main stem and the branches are modified like leaves, whereas cladode, only the branches are modified to take over the function of the leaves. That is, here the branches and the stems are modified in such a way that they take over the function of the leaves. I must tell you that this modification occurs in the xerophytic condition, desert condition, where the water is very low and the leaves are reduced to spiny outgrowths. In order to reduce the process of transpiration, and the photosynthetic function is taken by the stem, which may be modified in the form of phylloclade or the cladode. Phylloclade has unlimited growth, unlimited or indefinite growth, whereas cladode has unlimited and indefinite growth. This feature is common in both phylloclad and cladode. In phylloclad, it consists of several nodes and internodes, whereas in cladode, there is just one internode. True leaves are commonly corticous, that is, they are reduced to the spiny outgrowths in order that in case the leaf is there, it bears the stomata, and in order to overcome the shortage of water, the leaves are corticous. True leaves are either reduced to scales or modified to spines. Examples are Ruscus aculeatus, asparagus. Here the example is Apantia, Euphorbia, Rollinia, etc. Then the next aerial modification we have discussed is the climbers, creepers, tendrils, etc. with a little difference in them, that in case of climbers, the plants that take support of the neighboring structures and climb up are called as the climbers, whereas the plants with weak stem that cannot stand upright and spread on the ground are called as the creepers. Both these modifications are in such a way that the stem of the plant is very weak, and in order to take the various parts of the plant, that is leaves and the flower, to such heights that the leaves can have access to the sunlight and flowers can have access to the pollinators. These climbers and creepers, they get modified to perform this function. Either they take the support of the neighboring structures where they are called as the climbers, or they keep on trailing on the ground where they are called as the creepers. So these are certain modifications of the stem. So my dear students, I hope you have understood the structure of the stem and the various modifications. That's all for today. Thank you. Stay safe, stay healthy till we meet next time with the next organ of the